a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh.
Well, good morning. Well, might not be morning when you're watching this, but it is now Saturday morning, and we've just had this arrive. So you may have been following my boat restoration. If not, you might be new to this, but I was showing a truck that we built last year, which unfortunately I didn't film. But this year we're expanding our fleet by one more, and we bought this Daf LF55. It's a 280 with rear steering on the back, where we live, which is Guernsey in the Channel Islands. We have very tight lanes and driveways, but we also want to you know, carry as much payload as we can, and these rear steered DAF trucks are brilliant for that. Unfortunately, they're becoming a bit more rarer now, and they're hard to come by. 2013 DAF moved on from the Euro 5 to the Euro 6, I believe, and that was the end of the rear steer, which is a real shame because they're perfect for here. This pump here is Euro 6, but they don't do the rear steer for them. So that one's a 19-ton truck, which carries the pump. I think it's about 15 ton, I think. But this one's a 15 tonner, but with the extra axle makes it a 21 tonner. So it means we can take more of a payload and not have to cut in all the axles, where this truck here has had quite an extensive amount of work done to it to keep the trucks in, and this one is the same. But if you were to look at one that hasn't been cut down, this hob here will be sticking out quite a lot, as would the wing and everything would be out quite a bit too. So yeah, this looks a bit strange, doesn't it? If I get a bit of a side angle here. So our mission is to obviously refurb the back so it looks like new, and those wheels are obviously too far away, so the chassis is going to get shortened, the prop shaft is going to get cut, those axles are going to get pulled forward, probably quite close to the fuel tank. So effectively the back wheel will be where this center wheel is at some point, near enough. But yeah, we've had a look inside. It's a bit dark, I think you're going to see very well. It's not too bad. There is a bit of repairing to do, but I've tested the thickness of the steel, and it's around about 4 to 5 mil. In the worst places it's just under 4 mil thick, so the drum's not too bad. That was my concern. I priced a new mixer unit to go on it, and it was like 32.5 grand, where when we did our other mixer a few years back, about 5 years ago, it was 20 grand. So it's gone up 12.5 grand in 5 years, and I was like, right, how am I going to get out of this? Because it's not necessarily about the money. It's like, that's a lot of money. It was more than what the whole, you know, the truck cost. So it, you know, by the time you do all the work to it, and that was 32,500 not delivered, and getting it to an island like Guernsey is a bit of a pain. I'm just going to run through. So the cab is going to go green like the other trucks, because these concrete mixers I have are on permanent contract with a local concrete supplier called Hernie, to keep it to their colours, as they prefer that as well. My company itself, the pump is private, and I although I work alongside them very often, so I just kept it white. Our mission is the mechanic I work with, Lee. He's coming down to mark things out, because this unit has only been bolted to the chassis to bring it over to Guernsey, because it would probably save me about £1,000 doing that. So that's going to get lifted off in a day or so, and this truck will be driven in over there, right up to the workshop. This will then get lifted off and put where the truck is, and then we can, you know, sand, weld, replace any pipes. You know, I've been looking around, there's cables and stuff like that, they're a bit worn, and you know, the gauges, they're going to get replaced. Our concrete plant is a certain height for the other trucks, and although this one has had a little bit taken out of the pig's ear there, it still is quite high. So what I'm doing is yeah, looking at, we're gonna put a different pig's ear on just to help that cause. But we, you know, my panic yesterday, I went across to the plant and popped it under just to make sure, and it's not too bad, but we can do a little bit just to improve it, because if not, you load the concrete from the mixer, the batching plant, and if it's too tight under the sock that you back under for it to load, it's only going to block off and cause problems. So if we can do everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen, they'll appreciate it as well as we will. And the mixer's not going to go any much further, I don't think, but all of this gear has to move up quite fast, so it's not a 2-minute job. Might be a bit hopeful, thinking 6 to 8 weeks, and we should have it on the road, hopefully. So yeah, we're just going to mark out on the chassis where things are, but we've gone through the truck, I've taken it for a drive, it's all insured, so I thought why not. Drives lovely, the cracking truck. It used to be a hot box, but funnily enough, for a company that used to own our local concrete supplier, Aggregate Industries, and it was on the roads for them. So it's been well looked after. They're a good company, they're very strict on health and safety, so nothing's been neglected. But they got, I think it's hydraulic lines coming in the front. But yeah, it's a tidy truck. So what costs quite a lot of money is this thing here. Just to explain what that is when you work with a HIAB or something like that, they'll push their clutch in and push a button to put it in something called PTO, which is power to other. But being a mixer, it has to spin while you're driving, so you can't do that. So this is called a sandwich PTO, and it's made by a company called Knowles, up in, I think, is it Buckinghamshire or Norwich? I'm not sure. I'll put that in the thing so you can see, and they actually manufacture themselves. They're very clever, well, they're all very clever there. Arthur's the guy I deal with, it's a family business, it was his father's before, and he gave me a tour the last truck we did, and I went around and I even had lunch. They're really nice people, and it was really impressive to see what they do. But they make these sandwich PTOs, and this is this here, and it basically creates an extra gear, so then our thing will go into here, and then this turns and allows the hydraulics of all this to work. I have said in my other videos I'm no mechanic or anything like that, but I do know how to operate them, and I kind of understand how they work. But that's why my mechanic Lee comes down and does all the technical stuff. So for Guernsey, I think the width is 2 meters 310, I think, something like that. I'll put that up on the thing as well on the screen, which hopefully you'll see now. So I'm going to buy some bits, I'm going to get new chutes. Yeah, we're going to get inside. Just we had a little look yesterday, that's why the hatch was open, and just see what we're in for. But I am excited about it. I'm a little bit nervous because it is a big mixer for Guernsey, and so I mean it's never going to be full to the brim somewhere over here, but I think you're better off to have a machine that's capable of more and never push it, you know. So yeah, that's all part of it. But yeah, this is the rear steering. It's quite impressive. They use it on large trailers as well to stop the drag, because if not, you'll use your center axle and then the back wheels will scrub, and that's what happens with one of our other mixers. And what that means is you go through a lot of tires. So this will hopefully do it. But when these things are working, they're amazing, but when they go wrong, they are quite expensive. Luckily for me, in a way, this here has just been replaced. That's a £2,000 part. And what that does is regulate left and right, and it just syncs it, I believe, with the steering pump at the front. It's all air suspension, so you can higher it up, lower it down. Again, for Guernsey, that's like perfect, because sometimes you're over hedges, you're get some unique situations over here. It's a beautiful island, but it can also bring problems for transportation. Just have a quick look in the cab. Hey boy. So it's a single seat, which is what we need, because this thing will come out and we'll put our lever for the drum in there. It'll look pretty tidy. Yeah, it's all in good nick. The windscreen's been replaced because there was a chip in it. So yeah, it's fairly clean. And it's only dirty there because we went in it last night to look in the plant. But you can see the difference. If I just show you this truck on that, the wing here, and then you look at this one here, how much more it sticks out. And it's only, we're not talking much. So this here will get cut in the middle, slid in, and it'll probably be, that will be the edge of it about here. So we'll lose that. And sometimes, you know, we moan about the width restrictions, but there are times that we get into driveways over here, and if we didn't have them cut down, we wouldn't get in. So it's a pain at the start, but once you're set up, it's good. It's all been serviced. The motor, that is, not the mixer. But like I say, that's just been bolted on, just to come over here, and then we're going to take that off hopefully in a day or two. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So like I say, the mixer drum's going to go where that is. The actual truck itself is going to go here. We've got all our tools, we've got spare parts. We've done everything we can to learn from the last trucks that we've done, in hope that we're going to make it a bit easier on ourselves. Especially this thing's a godsend. We didn't have this last time, but it's a self-powered compressor which can power a big rattle gun. Equally, it can power like the smaller stuff, like you know, a small rattle gun or an air chisel and stuff like that. So we've got the welder, we've got a list. Yeah, so it's going to be a good challenge, I think, and we're going to do a video series over the next 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, please follow along. If you like it, share it with people you work with. You might not be local to Guernsey, but who doesn't like trucks, and who doesn't like building them, or watching building them? That's what I prefer, but I don't think I can get away with that this time. But yeah, so I hope to catch some video before I post this, all of it getting lifted off and put down. We're going to mark it out today, so I can then get the back off. So we're just going to get like a chalk pen, mark where the mixer is now, so when it's off we've got some reference points. But it shows how much of a gap there is here. But I mean, the wheels are going to be right to here. So yeah, it's the same view, but you can see this a little bit better now. But yeah, it's basically a slice all the way in the engine, all the way down and to there, and that's a sandwich PTO. Very clever how it works. You can get, I mean, they're not cheap. Just to give you a ballpark, ballpark? It is still early. A ballpark figure is it's just over about £7,500 that. So it certainly adds. That's why we don't buy new here in Guernsey a lot of the time, because we've got to cut it down. It's sadly gets very expensive very quickly. So a truck that you could buy in the UK for say 70 grand is going to cost 100 grand over here, or more. Like, I think a brand new Adji, you're looking at 100, 110 grand, maybe 130 for a big one. But if we were to do that over here, it would cost 160.
Everywhere you go, you bring
that will begin. What we were chatting about is a bit of a game plan. So we're going to check the drum for any welding that needs doing. And there's a couple of little spots that's going to need doing for sure. Not externally, more internally. The blades are in quite good condition, but there's a couple of areas that just need tidying up. If you do it now, you'll get years out of it, you know. So I'm going to do that. The bird's nest needs a little work. The pig's ear, that's getting done. And yeah, so there's a fair bit to go. And what we decided to do is, as we move these two axles up, we're going to move one up in position, and then that's going to keep the chassis at the right height, and then we'll move the rear one straight up. Last time obviously I only had one axle to move, so it's twice the work, but it's almost 3 times the work because this truck has the rear steer, which comes with all this extra pipe work.
This is a shakedown. Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes.
So pleased to say that we've now got the back off. We can see what we're in for now. It's also quite cool to see what is actually in these chassis of these trucks that you see driving around. All of this here is the rear steering pipes, goes all the way down, so that will obviously get cut back and all replaced. We've got hydraulic lines that are no longer needed, so they'll come out. All the air tanks will be moved forward, and yeah, we've got some work to do. First things first, we need to strip down all these mud guards off, and like the air vent on the back of the cab, all the wheel arches, and also those wings, they need to go. The fuel needs to be drained. So we've got quite a bit of stripping down to do, so that'll be the next video. I don't know why I get myself into these things. Right, thank you very much. Please subscribe, please share it with your colleagues who might be interested in this sort of thing. And over the next 6 to 8 weeks, we hope to turn this into one of these. Please like, please subscribe.